Well, thanks everybody for joining us again for Smart TV. I'm Curtis Howell, owner of Smart Social. This is Joseph Cancilla, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sure I got it right.
You got it.
With Ideation.
Yep.
He is another awesome marketing company that we do a lot of work with and consulting, kind of teaming up on things with as well. So today we wanted to talk about influencer marketing. How can you use influencer marketing in your business? How does it work? What are some ways that you could get started in your business with it? And maybe what are some do's and don'ts about that? And that's why we have Joseph here. He's the expert at influencer marketing. He's really you've pretty much built your whole business around, for ideation at least, that idea of using influencers.
That's the primary thing. And we stumbled into it by accident, actually.
Oh, really?
The sister company to Ideation, Activate, the monthly influencer events, evolved from a smaller portfolio building event. And that's kind of where we stumbled into the success of influencer marketing. And I've always kind of said that it's for companies, it's like candy. Right now it's hot. So
it is amazing. So now if you guys have comments, questions you have about influencer marketing, how you can use it in your business, let us know. Please send us that message if you're on Periscope or even Facebook Live as well. Let us know. We'd love to share those comments and answer those questions for you. So let's kind of let's talk just a little fundamental. I mean, what is influencer marketing? How is it? I think there's a few different definitions that other people have used. So let's just clarify what really is influencer marketing.
Yeah, it's confused some people what an influencer online really is. A lot of companies call it sponsored posts or sponsored ads. I think that's the most popular term that people use. But a basic definition is somebody who has a massive amount of reach or a massive network online that are following them. Those could be the big bloggers, the big YouTubers, any kind of interaction with the masses online would be considered an influencer.
Sweet. So not necessarily just a celebrity either then. So it could just be somebody that has really done a good job of putting YouTube videos out.
Yes.
Built themselves up. That's cool.
Yes, and there's all kinds of ranges and different levels. There's influencers that have 10,000 combined following, and those ones may just be getting started and they're working on growing their following, which is great. There's medium-sized ones, I would say in between 250,000 to 800, 900,000 followers, and then the big hitters that I would say are just under celebrity status would be the 1 million to 5-6 million plus.
Wow.
So we've worked with influencers of all ranges, all shapes and sizes, all different kinds of topics. It depends on what the client needs and who they need to be speaking to.
That's cool. How long do you think it takes an influencer to reach 1 million plus followers?
We did it in less than a week.
Oh, really? So if you know what you're doing, I mean, you could become an influencer pretty fast.
Yes.
As long as you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's cool. Nice. It's so amazing because I don't think people realize the amount of potential that has. Even if you are, that's one thing I love about technology and social media and stuff is even if let's say you can't hold a normal job, but you can sit in front of a computer and either blog or do videos or other things. I mean, you can have your own career.
Yes. And
it's so cool that kind of stuff can happen and people can be an influencer. So if you have comments or questions, let us know. We'd love to hear from you guys as well. If you're using influencers also, how they have helped you in your business would be great, or comments, questions you have on influencers would be awesome. So I guess to begin with as well, in talking about influencer marketing, I guess you first need to understand who is going to be the influencers that you need to get to, because it's not just anybody.
No, it's not. Absolutely not. We have some bigger influencers that we use. We've used quite a few times actually, and some of their largest networks are on Vine and Twitter, and that's a completely different audience that they're speaking to. Vine is a little bit more upbeat, funny types of stuff, and so when we had some really funny campaigns that we had to put out there that would fit that demographic, that's when we would go to him. We had another one, it was actually a dental product, it wouldn't fit putting that out on Vine. We did a little bit on Twitter, but we focused mainly on big bloggers that are already speaking about something similar, whether it's family bloggers. Mommy bloggers are always a force to be reckoned with, for sure.
Yeah.
And anybody blogging in that type of space that would be focused on oral hygiene, that's when we would put some focus into something other than those younger, fun types of platforms.
Nice. That's good. Okay. So that's really, if a company wants to get started using influencer marketing in their business, they first need to identify who are those people.
Yes.
That are influencing the market they need to get into.
And that's a traditional just branding or marketing intake process that every company should go through, whether they're working with a marketing or a social agency or not. That should be everybody's first step, so you can identify who it is that you're talking to. Because if you don't know and you're talking to everybody, that's not a very effective way of marketing.
Yeah, kind of the blanket approach. That's the beauty of social and online marketing, is you can really focus that message better instead of just trying to blast out to everybody. Okay, so companies need to make sure they do their marketing research first. That's going to help them a lot, and then start to identify those people. So how do you reach an influencer? I mean, once you identify these people, is there a best way to go around talking to them, or is there? Are they members? Is there like influencer groups or things you can get into to connect with? I know there's blogger networks for the bloggers that you can say, okay, you get into the network and they will help you connect with the bloggers and get that message out.
I can't really say there's any right way to approach an influencer. It's just making friends, like networking and connecting with people. You can find influencers that way. We had a booth at a gym nearby our place, and we were looking for one type of influencer, but randomly we just started talking to somebody else that came up and was curious. They were an influencer in a completely different industry, and that was a complete accident. We've used software systems before, and we still can. If we have a really big job that comes up, we can use our influencer platform. We can run different keyword searches, and it will spit us out a big long list of influencers, but it doesn't instantly create a relationship with them for us. It's just an information source, and we have to hit the phones or send out emails, and that's probably the harder way of doing it. But you're right, there are blogger networks out there. There's all types. There's one that we work with here locally. They have about 800 bloggers across the country. Here in Utah, they had 140, and so that's the network that we ended up tapping into for that dental campaign, actually.
Nice. That's cool. So, that's really the huge advantage of hiring you guys to help out. One is you can identify those guys fast.
Yes.
Of who they need to be using for their business. But then you already have a lot of established connections, so you can probably get into those people faster than like if I just went out, if I owned a restaurant or a pet care product or something like that, and I wanted to get out there to those people, I would have to go build those relationships and talk with them and send them direct messages and hopefully they'll respond and do those things. But so you guys already have a network where you can go, hey, we need people like this.
Yes.
Let's tap into our network and access them.
Yeah, we'll just run a database search, not in that software that I was talking about, but inside of our own system.
Yeah.
And if we already have the relationships with them, it's really easy to get it up and going quick, especially like the fitness industry or nutrition industry. We already have a pretty good group built up for that one. So that's kind of plug and play.
That's cool.
As long as it's an interesting product and the influencers want to participate. And then, I don't know if you're planning on getting to this, but the relationship part of it, there's usually something in it for them.
That's true.
That's always a pretty big question. So some of the smaller ones will do it for free samples. They at least want to try the product so they can talk about it. And then if they can get a pretty good supply and it's something that they're going to enjoy, then that's a perfect fit. So that's what we go to town doing. We are focused on getting the best. It's like creating a win-win between two different sides and making sure that influencer gets taken care of and that the company is also getting taken care of. But if you want some big heavy hitters, one of the influencers that we used had a following on Vine of 3.2 million.
Holy cow.
We ended up paying him, we got a little bit of a deal from what I heard. but we paid him $280. He kept it up for 2 hours.
Wow.
So $280, he kept it up for we knew that going into it, so that wasn't a surprise. But he said he would commit to keep that up for 2 hours, and then he took it down. So it's crazy. And when we saw that campaign start, it was little videos that we were promoting. And on Vines, they're called loops. Whenever somebody watches the video, you'll get another loop. These loops were spinning out of control.
Wow.
They were spinning in like the 60s or 70s. I couldn't even see what the number was because it was climbing so fast. And I went to bed that night. I woke up the next morning and checked it again, and it was still spinning in like the tens. And then eventually it slowed down, but there was a pretty steady residual amount of exposure that came from him keeping that up there. And we used him in tandem with a couple other smaller influencers, and it worked great. It was really cool how that
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was
wow.
fun.
Jeez. That's good. So you do need to make sure when you get influencers, I mean, obviously they're not necessarily doing it for free, just, for altruistic reasons. They want to have something, whether it's a free sample, some kind of supply for themselves to use, or a paid, you're going to pay them to do it.
A lot of them, they're doing this for a living.
Yeah.
Some of them do it on the side, but there's a good portion of them out there that are doing it to make a living. So they definitely want to make something from it.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, and their influence is worth something, so there should be value there for them as well.
There's also two types of posts that they want to interact with, and two ways of paying them. If you're expecting an influencer to create the content from scratch, they should be making a little bit more off of that deal.
Yeah.
That guy that I told you about, the $280, all he had to do was click the share button and put the content we had already created on his page for 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
That was the easiest money that anybody could have ever made.
$280 for 2 hours.
Just to share something.
Just to post it and then bring it back down.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a pretty good hourly rate right there.
It is. It really is.
To do that, yeah. Wow. So I know on the social media side, and I know this still applies to influencer marketing too, is watching for the Federal Trade Commission's guidelines.
That's a big one.
Federal Trade Commission, for those of you who might not realize, Federal Trade Commission and the Federal Communications Commission both track what businesses do online, and so the truth in advertising rules that apply for radio and TV still apply to social media. So you want to make sure that if you're paying someone to do marketing for you online, there needs to be some kind of thing like the pound sponsored or pound ad or something in that post somewhere that tells people, hey, I'm being paid to do this.
Yeah.
So a recent example, I think I sent you the link to this one from
you did.
The Federal Trade Commission on Instagram.
Yeah.
There was a fashion company. They sent out, they connected 50 women that had really large Instagram following. They sent them all this dress, and they told them you can have the dress for free, but you need to take a picture with yourself on it and use this hashtag so we can track it.
Yes.
Basically. And they did, and I think it generated quite a bit of hits to their site. It did really well for them. But because they didn't tell these women that you need to put something in your post that tells people that you got compensated. You're not doing this because you love the dress, you're doing this because you're getting compensated.
Yes, that's a big difference.
And so they got hit, I think it was $50,000 per post $16,000 per post on Instagram. So 16,000 times 50 posts.
Not worth it.
Yeah. I don't think they made money on that.
No, not worth
strategy
it.
After that one.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's something that we always are very careful about. But there's still like fun and light ways that you can say, hey, they're taking care of me.
Yeah.
For this, but I really do truly love this product, and that's why I'm talking about this.
Yes. It still can be altruistic.
Yeah.
There still can be value in there. It's not. It doesn't have to feel like a political ad or something. This was paid for by blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Dry and boring.
Yeah, exactly. So there are ways of doing it to help people understand that without ruining the message that you're getting across, basically, and making it sound like it's dumb. But just watch out for those things as well. Those are important to check for. And I mean, really, if you can get an influencer to do it because they like it,
yes,
that's cool. Tom's Shoes kind of did that.
Yes.
You know, they just got their shoes in front of celebrities, and celebrities just started wearing them. And then when the paparazzi take pictures, they're going, "What are those shoes?"
Yeah.
You know. In fact, I don't know if you realize that's how Chicken Soup for the Soul got out there.
Oh wow.
As well. Yeah, it's a really interesting story. I heard Jack Canfield talk about this when they made that book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, and they went to publish it. They published that book at the same time when O.J. Simpson, that whole fiasco with O.J. Simpson was going down. And so what they would do is they actually sent a free copy to every jury member. So all the jurors got a free copy of Chicken Soup for the Soul.
That's cool.
They're all sequestered, you know, they couldn't do anything. So they sent in this book, and so what happened was when they came into court, the cameras realized that everybody in the jurors box has the same book. What is it? And they got it out there, and they did that. And then they kind of used their own selves as influencers, because what they would do, Jack and his partner would call radio shows. It doesn't matter what the radio show was talking about. They would just call to offer their 2 cents. And the people would realize, oh, we're talking about Jack Canfield of Chicken Soup for the Soul. So, hey, Jack, when's your next book coming out? And they'd give him like 2 minutes to talk about his next book.
That is awesome. I'm going to remember that.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of guerrilla marketing a little bit, but still, it got it out there. And so stuff like that was really neat. You know, and it didn't cost them much to do that. So there's still some fun ways you can use people's influence, you know, without having to pay a ton. You don't have to. I think there's a misnomer on influencer marketing where a lot of people think it's going to cost, you know, $1 million to hire a celebrity to post this stuff or things like that.
Yeah, it will if you want a celebrity.
Yeah. If you want a Kardashian to go after it, you're looking for a pretty penny on that one. But you know, but there's still. I mean, and that's the beauty of social media is you don't have to be a celebrity to have that kind of influence on people's lives.
Right.
You know, there's plenty of local people that you can choose from that have the same influence on that market without having to use a celebrity.
That's true.
They'll cost less, you know, and they might be friendlier with you too.
People want someone who is willing to be real with them. So I would say anybody who is anybody should be focused on growing their following. Even if it's not something you've ever done before, just don't pull on the reins. I know there's a lot of people out there like, oh, I don't know that person. I'm not going to be friends with them on Facebook. I don't know why anybody would ever do that. Because every person that you haven't met is like, it's a potential friend anyways. Like,
yeah.
What is that saying? Strangers are just friends we haven't met yet.
Exactly.
So, and there are still safeguards that you should have in place, and there's still a level of safety that you should have when you're meeting people that you don't know.
True.
Online. But
makes sense.
With all that said, you could easily become an influencer. If there's something that you're passionate about, just create habits. Just start talking about it and do something regularly. Some people also will get this kind of bug that they want to start a blog or something. But then they only post like every month or every couple of months, and that isn't going to do anything for them because people want to follow people who are going to be regular, who are going to be really consistent, and offer a steady stream or a really good source of feedback, whatever it is. We're actually working on one ourselves right now.
Really?
We want to team up with the city, Ogden City. We're creating a concept called Tactical Addicts to become the authority and to be able to review tactical products and outdoors products. And then our intention with that is to team up with the city eventually and to go and create friends who own outdoors companies and tactical companies.
That's cool.
Bring them in and show them around.
Have you heard of BattleBox? Are you familiar with that one?
BattleBox?
Yeah. So my brother actually just showed this to me last night. It's a company. It's kind of like the Dollar Shave Club, but for survival gear.
That's cool.
Basically, and what they do is they have multiple tiers that you buy, and the more tiers, the cooler gear you get.
I gotta write that down.
And every month they send this out. But here's what's fascinating is they have a gentleman that he's kind of created himself as an own influencer. So what he did is he bought their expensive box. Then every month when they send it, he puts his cameras on and dissects the box in front of YouTube, and then shows up. Cool. So he's made himself an influencer using their brand.
That's
basically.
like a big boy version. I know my 3-year-old is constantly on YouTube watching these like these toys, these massive boxes
Yes,
of toys, like
yes.
the unveiling of
Oh, I know.
whatever these stupid little toys are, and they drive me absolutely crazy. But they have a huge following, and
Yes.
they're getting even little kids to watch them.
Oh yeah, my kids do the Nerf ones
Yeah.
all the time. It's crazy. but and that's what's so cool. I mean, so as an influencer, the two biggest things if you want to be an influencer is one, you've got to be willing to connect with lots of people.
Yes.
Be open to meeting new people all the time. And two, you have to be very consistent.
Yes.
On creating that content, posting things that'll attract people in. So I know, like even here off of BYU TV, they have, well not BYU TV, but I guess it's, they're still in Utah County, is, rats, board shorts.
Board shorts?
Yeah.
Just swim shorts?
No, so board shorts TV.
Okay.
Is what they do. They did a YouTube channel. If you've ever, they did the YouTube videos where they record a couple of 4-year-old kids telling the stories, like just talking through the stories. They create the dialogue. Then they have adults act it out with the kids' voices on it. It's rather entertaining.
Cool.
It's really funny. And so these guys did this just, I think they started it 2 or 3 years ago. Just a bunch of guys doing. I think it's now full time. Like they go to the YouTube conventions and they do all the big stuff like that. They have a huge following, and it's just wild that they just got a couple of their kids, 3 and 4-year-old kids, to tell a random story, and they recorded the audio of it, and then they get adults to act it out in real life, and then dub the kids' voices over it. But they had Josh Groban on one of their episodes. Now they're getting like celebrities are wanting to come join them to do it. They had Lindsay Sterling, I think her name is, the lady the violinist that dances at the same time. They've had, they get all these other people that are celebrities, influencers, to be a part of their next shows. So it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
What you can do. I mean, really, the sky's the limit as far as being an influencer and what you can do.
That's cool.
Which means for a business, there's just so much potential. So much opportunity there to do that. So long as you know who your market is and who's hitting that market, then that's where you need to start. And then it's just a matter of negotiating and building that relationship with those influencers and communicating with them.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And be intentional about what you do online. Like people put random stuff up and there's no rhyme or reason. Like do it for a purpose, do it for a reason, and be intentional. And I like those 2 tips that you threw out there. The consistency, being open to meeting new people. Those are 2 very big things. And then I would think a third thing is don't get stuck in the trap of perfectionism. I remember the first time that I ever went to hit the record button on a video that I was going to put out there. My wife was laughing at me 3 hours later because I hadn't done anything. And I was like, no, I gotta practice a little bit more on their comments.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So, but yeah, just do it. It doesn't have to be super high professional quality. Just hit the record button and be real with people.
Something that you have experience in, talking about. So even the gentleman that made that comment on there, anything that you have unique experience in, that you can give advice or influence to people, that's a good thing to talk about and to share about. Even those experiences that you went through, the guy that was commenting on Periscope. So there's a ton of potential.
Just be willing to make mistakes in front of people.
Yeah.
That will show that you're real.
And I would say too, one thing that I think some businesses forget when they do influencer marketing is because they still think in a marketing mindset of, I'm just paying these people to go do this. But if that business doesn't have representation on the social sites themselves.
Exactly.
Nobody likes to, you got this person talking about you, but then it's a ghost town on your own Facebook page.
There was a big mistake for one of the campaigns that we ran, and we kept recommending, hey, you need to participate. That's like the fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
Because they were leaning on us to do everything for them. And like you said, it was a ghost town. Like our funny political campaign that we were putting out there was nowhere to be seen on their website, nowhere to be seen on their main social media pages.
Wow.
We even had to create a brand new Facebook page to be able to talk about this. And so it was kind of like we were fighting against them and creating resistance when we could have been working together and teaming up. And then they even started running another campaign simultaneous to what we were doing. And I don't ever recommend that either.
Wow. Yeah. Keep everybody in the know of what's happening.
And focus, laser focused on one thing at a time.
Sweet. Well, awesome. If you guys have any other questions, let us know. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Always let us know. You can use the hashtag SMRTTV to connect with those. And of course, we broadcast these and then record them and stick them onto YouTube. So you can go watch them later. I think you can still catch them on our Periscope, as well as Facebook still stores them also, so you can watch them later. But we have all our past episodes recorded on YouTube as well, so go check them out to learn more about online marketing tips for your business. How can we make this easier for you as a business to use these tools to help you? Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you guys later.
See you guys.